Alright lads, we're back again. I know this is the day of 327. I've just been fucking too busy realistically with computer issues as well. That will get fixed soon, but just multiple things. Doesn't really matter. Look, okay, we're just gonna break down this card quickly. I'm not gonna give you all the fancy fucking transitions, intros, and all. We're literally just gonna go down to the lock of the week, and the lock of the week this week, I'm really not gonna waste any time. It's Procházka. Of course, the main event: Procházka versus Carlos Ulberg. 327 in Miami. The lock of the week this week's going to be Yuri. I think Yuri by KO or sub. He has the more 5 round experience. He's had 34 fights and made one decision. And to be honest, I don't see Carlos Ulberg being good enough to be able to draw him to a decision. Carlos Ulberg's biggest win is probably Dominic Reyes in very dominant fashion. But again, he's looked pretty sloppy against some of the heavyweight elite. I think, to be fair, if your name is Alex Pereira, you're not beating Yuri. That's just the simple fact of life. At 6-5 for the finish, I really can't say no to that. Yuri has gotten obviously a bit more 5 round experience. He's had one obviously title fight that he's won by submission when he submitted fucking Glover Teixeira after losing that basically whole fight and then submitting him in the 5th. The samurai for a reason. He has the can do, won't die attitude. And again, I'm going to lock him pretty simply. That's what I see. 6-5 for the lock. We'll go down to the favourites. I'm really not wasting time here. I'm extremely tired, so I'm just going to make this a lot faster than usual. So, Cub Swanson against Nate Ellenware. Being honest, I just think that I'm going to just go with here. I'm not going to go with stats and blah, blah, blah. I just think the veteran here gets it on his retirement. I don't think Nate has looked great in a lot of his fights. His Dai Hoi Kim fight, he looked okay for maybe about the first minute and a half. Then, first 5 minutes, maybe 7.5. And then the first time he got to the mat, he looked very, very out of his depth. I think Cub Swanson's boxing is better. I think his grappling's still better. I think, again, the last survivor of WEC will be completely fine inside this fight. Next, we will move into the no distance on the Johnny Walker fight. Now, personally, to me, I think the Johnny Walker fight is kind of crazy to have no distance. It's the two of the most chinny fighters we've ever seen come from the light heavyweight division against each other. If there is no finish in this, it would be funny to see us go to distance, but if there is no finish in this, I'd be very, very surprised. Don't know who's going to get it, so I'm just going to go on no distance on the Aka. Over 1.5 in the Curtis Blades fight. I don't think Hogan's on the level of Curtis Blades, but I also don't think there'd be a fast finish inside this fight. And yeah, I think over 1.5 at 10-9 is pretty solid for this. And then obviously no decision inside the Ori fight. I really don't have to say it again, but I just think Uri's going to finish him anyways. No real need to talk about that again. And we will move down to the underdogs. Now, this one might get a bit weird, but I'm going to go Curtis Blades to get the finish. Again, I don't think Hawkhead is anywhere near the level of the Curtis Blades, as I've said. I think it's one of those ones where Josh Hawkhead is, as Curtis said himself, I think the UFC are punishing him, and I think they're right. I don't really think they like this sort of non-organic rise within the fan base. He hasn't really done it. He's just tried to play some sort of WWE character. His Denzel Freeman win is okay, but again, do we really think he's on the level of Curtis Blades? Like, no, he isn't. Curtis Blades will finish him. Probably say late inside the 3rd round. Curtis will get to finish, just to the simple fact that Hockett doesn't really have 3-round cardio. We've already seen this in some of his fights on the regional scene. Even his Contender Series fight, he gassed against a lad who looked genuinely exhausted after about 30 seconds. So it's one of those ones where I think he'll try a heavy wrestling game that will just drain more stamina as he wastes trying to get takedowns. Curtis will catch him late. I'd actually go with Curtis by sub, but again, TKO and sub is 9-4, so there's no point in not taking the value. I do move into Francesco Paredo. Now, Paredo is the underdog I look at here because personally, to me, I think Paredo is not really a 1-4 fighter. I don't think he's deserved to lose most of the fights he did. I thought he won his last one against Nikola Velikovsky, or fuck his name was. I think, to be fair, I think he won that one, and then he's had three other, kind of meh decisions against Zenhuber, and I'm trying to think of the last one without looking at it, but I know it's Zenhuber and whatever the fuck that lad's name was. He has beaten Otter Altman basically by a finish, and that's what I could see happening inside his fight. I don't see this going the distance either, just to the simple fact that Charles Arky's gone to distance once and he's finished and been finished in all his other fights. I think Parado has a very, very strong chin. The boxing might not be there, but the grappling could show late because Rocky does not have brilliant cardio once he gets out of round 1. And yeah, I go with Parado here because I don't think he's a 1-4 fighter. I think he versatily has the tools to be able to take out Charles Radke. And we will move down because that's going to be the end of it. I will just tell you what the ACA pays. Sorry, the ACA pays I think 46 off a tenner. So yeah, if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button or hit subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.